Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time just stumbling across my video or YouTube recommended it, thank you so much for taking the time to stop by and click on my video. I hope you decide to stay around. I would love to have you here. If you're returning, thank you as always for your continued support. It means the world to me. So last week, I do believe it was earlier last week, I brought you guys a video pertaining to the Ohio train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. So since then, there has been a huge fallout. There's a lot going on, literally another train wreck going on pertaining to the actual train wreck, you guys. I had a couple of you guys comment on the last video just stating that you're from Ohio, and that I think I even had someone that was from East Palestine as well. And then I actually had a lovely subscriber reach out to me this morning as well, in regards to things that are going on since this has happened that really the news isn't really talking about. Yes, they give us news, but they also tell us what they want us to know and kind of keep everything hush hush while you get information from other people who live there or have family members from there, right? Since February the 8th, there have been at least 3,500 fish that have turned up dead. They're stating they're going to have to do testing, like the EPA is going to do testing, trying to figure out the cause of death and why there are so many fish dying. I mean, I'm no scientist or expert, but I think it's kind of safe to say that this probably goes hand in hand with the chemicals from the derailment. I mean, we were talking about carcinogens and toxic chemicals that have been linked to cancer that were involved in the accident. They were being carried on the train. So with them, spilling and then catching fire, we can imagine that spilled on the ground, and all of that is going to seep into the ground. It's not like it just seeps into, just stays in one area. That has to seep into the ground. Once it seeps into the ground, obviously it goes into the soil. So we're talking about something that is going to be affecting this area for a while, whether the news wants to, say that or not. If there was any kind of downpour or rain, or just from the fire being put out, any kind of liquid can travel and go into streams and go into creeks and go into rivers, which then in turn is going to kill, the wildlife. It can kill your fish and your aquatic animals. So this is a big deal. It didn't just, affect just the train and just what was on it. It's going to affect the residents. From what I understood and from what I gathered earlier today on the information, they were just allowed to come back to their homes. They were given the okay to come back to their homes. Now, mind you, when this happened, I also reported that they were telling residents hey, you have to go. It was a mandatory, you have to go. People that were choosing to stay, if they had children, they were going to, or they were threatening to arrest them. This is a disaster. I'm definitely going to stay tuned. I'm going to bring you guys as much information as I can. So this is going to be affecting, like I said, not just any animals in the streams and creeks, but we're talking about just regular wildlife. We're talking about, there's farmers around. I'm sure there's just animals everywhere. Y'all, I am back. I'm in a different location because I'm on my back deck because I had to get out earlier of my car because my baby is fussy. Well, he woke up and he was fussy today because he only has taken a total of a 40-minute nap combined. He's had 2 naps, both 20 minutes each, and he wants nobody but me. Not only is the soil and water being affected, but this is also going to affect the air quality as well. So I just read something a little while ago that stated that they had donated 100 air purifiers to residents. So that kind of lets you know that something is going on with the air. But again, they're probably not going to say outright hey, yeah, your air quality is diminished and not where it should be. They donated over $220,000 to the fire department. And that's for their new apparatuses, the breathing apparatuses, I guess, because I'm assuming it has to, I don't know anything about fire departments or anything like that. So I don't know how many uses they normally get. I don't know if they're just throwing them out and donated the money so they can be replaced because of the vinyl chloride, which they were exposed to. I don't know. But anyhow, that has been donated. And they are also offering residents $1,000 checks for an inconvenience fee. They're trying to pay them $1,000. There is an attorney locally who's kind of advised against the residents accepting that if they have not already. And I think there's either that same attorney or another attorney who's actually drawing up paperwork as well, to serve to the company Norfolk Southern in regards to it, because I think their thinking is that if they give these people $1,000, then they won't be able to come after them for, you know, at any other time for like lawsuit reasons. I mean, you have residents who were displaced and, you know, basically told to get out of their homes and stayed wherever, whether it was with friends, families, hotels, I don't know, but they were displaced from, I believe it was February 3rd when this incident occurred, until today, February 14th, when they were told they can come back. So that's a couple of weeks. If you're staying in a hotel, hotels can get pricey, so you got to think about that money. So $1,000 to me actually is a slap in the face. You're talking about residents who, if they're out of that money and they have their, I mean, your rent is still due, your mortgage is still due. So for some people, that is going to help them, you know, and they're going to accept that. And like I said, I don't know how that will play out. But again, there are so many different aspects of this. I'm sure this will be an ongoing story because, like I said, air quality is definitely being affected. The soil, the water, it's all being affected. Obviously, drinking water, I would think, would be a concern too. And just like crops and everything. I don't know much about this company, but it's funny that I was actually passing in my local area. I was passing an area and they had workers from this place, Norfolk Southern, because I passed by and it was the trucks and they had out-of-state plates. I'm going to see if I can insert video here. If I don't, I'll have to do it in another video. It just depends if I can get it in this video or not. And they were working on the railroads. They were kind of just looking at the railroads. Now, I don't know if they were just doing like work, standard work. It could be a coincidence. I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all, but you kind of do a double take and it kind of makes you look at things outside of the box when you hear about so many derailments happening, because this wasn't the first one. So it's like, are they just kind of inspecting everything? And I'm just gonna show you some of that footage. They were working out there all day long. I passed by probably about 30 to 45 minutes ago and they were still out there. They're wrapping it up for the day though. So I don't know if they'll be back tomorrow or what. It's not being reported on our local news as anything happening. So at this point, I don't think that anything is accidental. I'm not saying, no, let me change that. I'm not saying that accidents don't happen, but again, with so much happening so fast, there has been a lot going on in the world, especially like the last couple of weeks. I mean, we've talked about the balloons that have been in the air that have been shot down. Now they're mentioning something about UFOs. That's a whole nother story. And then you have this derailment and then the fallout from the derailment. So let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think this goes hand in hand on what we're seeing? Do you think it's just like accidental, like accidents happen? It was something that caused the derailment. Or do you think this is more like a another planned scenario? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care and stay safe.